Tell me about the group this year. Obviously, you had a few key guys graduate, like Dylan and them. Kind of tell me where you guys are at right now.
Well, we have an incredible amount of experience back, and that's what people I think overlooked. So I think it's edge. If I had to say anything, we got an incredible edge because I think they feel a little bit discarded. That last year's team was so good. They feel like, hey, we were part of that, so we want to show them. Our off season had an incredible amount of anger, and I don't mean anger in a bad way. It was like every day they came in just with a chip on their shoulder, and that's pretty remarkable after the season we had to have the chip we have. I'm really excited to see how we play.
As a coach, what is it like to work with a team that has that kind of chip? How much more does it give you guys?
Sometimes toning it down at practice. We got some guys that really like to hit. We have 10 starters back on defense, and they were part of and we wear this out a little bit. I will say I'm guilty of wearing this out. 2 years ago, they were all sophomores. They gave up 30 points a game. So every day we kind of noodle them with that. So we got to almost tone it down a little bit because they try to get too physical because they want to prove that, hey, even though we were sophomores back then, we were still a good defense. We gave up a lot of points, so we want to rectify it.
Tell me about that quarterback position. Who's back there now, and how's he adjusted?
We have Tyler Backs and Wyatt Mildrum. Tyler is a sophomore, Wyatt is a senior. Both of them are very capable. We will not even go with the elephant in the room. Dylan was a different guy. But what we do have is incredible experience around both of them. We have 3 starters on the offensive line back. We have 2 receivers back, plus 2 running backs. Our running back that was a starter last year blew his ACL in the Jamboree. So we have a 1,000-yard rusher and a freshman who was Hayden Lackman, who's back as a sophomore. He squatted 390 during the offseason, so a 15-year-old can't drive, squatting almost 400. And then Eli is doing a great job. But our quarterbacks have really adjusted well. We'd like to see a little bit more sense of urgency with them both, but at the same standpoint, I can't complain about where they're at.
Yeah, do you feel like it's a bit of a competition as to who's going to get that starting spot, or do you feel like you're in a pretty good spot now?
We compete in every position, and that's not just coach speak. If somebody isn't doing their job, we're going to look for somebody else, and that's the great thing. We're a school of a little over 400, and we have right at 80 players out for football. So there are a lot of players out here. We have a lot of opportunities for them to get that, and so we kind of help try to model them to say, hey, if I'm not in a number 1 position, I'm going to work to get your position. I'm going to take it from you.
A lot of returning starters on that defense, like you said. Where do you see room for them to grow, though, even though they have those starters?
Well, I think first of all is little things, and that's what we stress every day. Little things create big moments. But if you don't do the little things right, so it's step, start, stance, and alignment. I sent a text to every one of our defensive starters last week, and I told them, you got a chance. But if you don't do your stance, you don't do your start, you don't do your steps, alignment and assignment, I don't care how good you are, you can't play. Every great player does that, and I think this week was a great moment that Andy Reid talked about Nick Bolton. It's not the physical part of the game, it's more the conjugative and the stance, start, getting everybody lined up. So that's where we're leaning on our players is communicate, get lined up, and let's go from there.
As far as the state championship, I know you guys turned the page quickly. What's the message to the team to kind of get them to turn that page, or have you seen them kind of do it on their own?
They did it on their own. We came back in December, had that first meeting, and it was prepare today, battle tomorrow. That was their motto, and that told me right there before we even started our off season when the seniors and returning starters said prepare today, battle tomorrow. That tells you everything about this team. They have a little bit of an edge, as I said before. I think a lot of it has to do with everybody was really, really respectful of Dylan, and what a tremendous and great player. I think they're anxious to show that, hey, we can also play football.
Preparing in this heat, I know I heard all you guys saying, kind of persevere through everything. How much does this heat prepare you guys?
It's football, and that's the one thing I think people get lost in the translation with. Somebody's going to win in the hot. Somebody's going to lose in the hot. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we do. The only time we can't coach these players is when it's 105 or above. So if it's below 105, we'll coach them, and we got to be prepared to play. Last year we won a playoff game. It was 18 degrees with 30-mile-an-hour winds in downtown St. Louis. Somebody's going to win in the cold. Somebody's going to lose in the cold. You want to play football, or you want to worry about the weather? I tell you this: I don't create it. I don't know who creates it. I know it's something that we have to just deal with. So we can't worry about the weather. We can only worry about our preparation.